Well, I studied fine arts in Madrid, and when I was at university, for example, I didn't study any women artists, so I think that's like a huge example. And on the other hand, I have had quite a long career now, and still I don't have any book that studies my work or anything, so yeah. Well, I think the art world is getting better in terms of equality, but it's only marginal, because when you go to art fairs, the percentage of women exhibiting in art galleries is still much lower than a 50%, and still women, in terms of market values, we're still valued less. You know, our work is cheaper. So I think we have still a long way to go, even though it's getting better slowly. I think the curriculums in general, in schools, in universities, they are still based on a very old-fashioned curriculum. So basically, in terms of history of art, it is based in what the academy said in the 18th century, so it hasn't really changed that much. And therefore, in most of the books that are still recommended to students to read and to study, there's still a huge lack of women artists. And but then again, if you go to a museum, you hardly find, in certain museums, not so much in contemporary art, but in historic museums like the Prado or the Louvre or the National Gallery in London, you hardly find any women. I mean, the percentage is like 5% or 7%, something ridiculous, or even less. Well, I think it's unfair. It shows a total lack of knowledge, that there's like an intention of no change, of things not sort of going forward. And I think there's a lot of pressure on what women are doing, and it's really only thanks to us that things have like a hope, you know, for change. But I think in terms of equality, it's still very unfair. Well, I think there has to be a will from, you know, in terms of institutions and to show women artists, because I think when an institution shows an artist, it gives value to those artists, and then the second most important thing comes along, which is the market. So as long as the artist is important, the market will go up. And I think it's like a vicious circle, you know, that one thing sort of feeds on the other. And probably at the beginning, it's probably a question of following the law and making it by law something that equality is one of the bases, you know, that has to be accomplished. So if you find a museum or a gallery that is not being equal, they should be encouraged, at least. However, I am quite positive. I think slowly things are changing, and they're improving. And it's quite difficult, if you look backwards, you know, to historic museum, it's quite difficult to find a change, because the collections haven't got the art of women. But I think in contemporary art, at least where I'm living now in London, there's a huge effort of exhibiting women artists in important museums, like, I don't know, for example, the Tate Gallery, and there's been many exhibitions on women artists, solo exhibitions, which is, I think, what really shows, you know, the work of a woman. I would like to say that whatever we do as artists, we're going to keep on working, and sadly, things are not easy for any artist. I mean, this is not just about women, but I think we have it harder. We just have to keep on pushing and working and showing that we're very good artists, and that's it.